In the annals of history, there exists a day that transcends time, a day when the world stood still and the very fabric of our shared reality was forever altered. On September 11, 2001, the sun rose on a day that would etch itself into the collective consciousness, leaving an indelible mark on the pages of our shared narrative. Join us on a journey through the echoes of that fateful morning, where the ordinary met the extraordinary and the course of history took an unexpected turn. In this video, we will navigate through the chronological tapestry of events, unraveling the threads of tragedy and heroism that defined a nation and reshaped the world. As we delve into the profound moments of September 11, 2001, let us remember not only the devastation wrought by acts of terror, but also the resilience, courage, and unity that emerged in the face of unspeakable adversity. This is a tribute to the lives lost, the heroes born, and the enduring spirit that rose from the ashes of that unforgettable day. Welcome to the exploration of 9 elements, a chapter that echoes across time, reminding us of the strength found in unity, the resilience of the human spirit, and the enduring call for remembrance. As the sun cast its golden glow on September 11, 2001, few could fathom the sinister symphony that would soon unfold. This was a day that transcended the ordinary, when the course of history would be forever rewritten by unthinkable acts of terror. In the azure skies above New York City, American Airlines Flight 11, a Boeing 767 en route from Boston to Los Angeles, was hijacked by 5 al-Qaeda terrorists. At precisely 8:46 a.m., it crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact sent shockwaves through the nation and laid bare the dark intentions that lurked in the hearts of the perpetrators. The unfolding horror intensified as United Airlines Flight 175, another hijacked Boeing 767, careened into the South Tower of the World Trade Center at 9:03 a.m. The world watched in collective disbelief as the Twin Towers, symbols of American prosperity and resilience, burned against the canvas of the Manhattan skyline. At the break of 10 o'clock a.m., the South Tower succumbed to the relentless assault of the flames and structural damage. In a surreal cascade, it collapsed into a cloud of dust and debris. Lower Manhattan was thrust into chaos, and the world stared in stunned silence as an indelible image of destruction unfolded. Moments later, the North Tower met a similar fate. At 10:28 a.m., the once proud skyscraper crumbled, leaving a void in the skyline and a scar on the American spirit. The nation, still reeling from the shock of the first collapse, now grappled with the inconceivable reality of witnessing a second tower fall. Meanwhile, on the outskirts of Washington, D.C., American Airlines Flight 77, a hijacked Boeing 757, aimed for the heart of American military power, the Pentagon. At 9:37 a.m., it crashed into the western side of the building, tearing through offices and leaving a smoldering testament to the audacity of the attacks. Amidst the chaos, heroes emerged on United Airlines Flight 93. Passengers, armed with the knowledge of the other attacks, fought back against the hijackers in a courageous bid to prevent further catastrophe. Their valor proved pivotal as Flight 93, rather than reaching its presumed target in Washington, D.C., crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The passengers' selfless sacrifice averted what could have been another devastating strike on the nation's capital. Welles Crowther, the man in the red bandana. The September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks were orchestrated by the extremist group al-Qaeda, led by Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden had been the mastermind behind several terrorist activities, and he declared jihad against the United States, viewing it as a primary adversary. The attacks were carried out by 19 terrorists associated with al-Qaeda, who hijacked 4 commercial airplanes, departed from Boston, Massachusetts, and crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center at 8:46 a.m. United Airlines Flight 175 also departed from Boston and crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center at 9:03 a.m. American Airlines Flight 77 departed from Washington Dulles International Airport and crashed into the Pentagon at 9:37 a.m. United Airlines Flight 93 departed from Newark, New Jersey, and was headed for Washington, D.C. The passengers fought back against the hijackers, resulting in the plane crashing into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 10:10 a.m. It is believed that the intended target was either the White House or the U.S. Capitol. Capture of Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden remained at large for nearly a decade after the 9/11 attacks. He was finally located and killed by U.S. Navy SEALs during a raid on his compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, on May 2, 2011. Reasons behind the attacks. The attacks were motivated by a combination of religious extremism, anti-American sentiment, and opposition to U.S. foreign policy, particularly in the Middle East. Al-Qaeda sought to establish an Islamic State and perceived the United States as a primary obstacle to achieving their goals. Bin Laden cited grievances such as the U.S. military presence in Saudi Arabia, its support for Israel, and its involvement in Iraq and Afghanistan as reasons for the attacks. Welles Crowther, an equities trader working in the South Tower, became a symbol of heroism. Known as the man in the red bandana, Crowther saved numerous lives by guiding people to safety before losing his own. His bravery and sacrifice inspired a legacy of compassion and selflessness. Rick Rescorla, leading others to safety. Rick Rescorla, head of security for Morgan Stanley in the South Tower, orchestrated a successful evacuation, saving thousands of lives. The Vietnam War veteran, Rescorla's leadership and calm demeanor in the face of danger demonstrated the strength of the human spirit. Flight 93 passengers, united in resistance. The passengers of United Airlines Flight 93, realizing the hijackers' intentions, united in an extraordinary act of resistance. Through collective bravery, they thwarted the hijackers' plan to target a prominent Washington, D.C. landmark, sacrificing their lives to save countless others. First responders, courage under fire. Firefighters, police officers, and other first responders exhibited unparalleled courage as they rushed towards the chaos. Many gave their lives to save others, embodying the essence of heroism amid the devastation. The 9/11 attacks prompted a comprehensive overhaul of aviation security measures to prevent similar incidents in the future. The following changes were implemented. Stricter security protocols were introduced for passenger screening, including the implementation of the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, in the United States. This involved more thorough screening of passengers, their belongings, and increased use of advanced screening technologies. Cockpit security was reinforced to prevent unauthorized access. The introduction of reinforced cockpit doors became a standard practice, making it more difficult for hijackers to gain control of the aircraft. The use of air marshals on commercial flights increased significantly. Trained law enforcement officers would be on board, ready to respond to any potential security threats. Stricter rules regarding items allowed on planes were implemented. Items like box cutters and small knives, which were used by the 9/11 hijackers, were prohibited. The attacks also led to changes in immigration policies, with a focus on enhancing national security and preventing potential threats. Visa screening procedures were tightened to scrutinize applicants more thoroughly, with an emphasis on identifying potential security risks. Enhanced background checks and information sharing measures were implemented. In 2003, the Department of Homeland Security was established to consolidate various federal agencies responsible for immigration, border security, and emergency response. This reorganization aimed to improve coordination and information sharing among different agencies. Border security measures were intensified to prevent the illegal entry of individuals who might pose security threats. This included the deployment of more Border Patrol agents and the use of advanced surveillance technologies. The 9/11 attacks have profound implications for global counterterrorism efforts, reshaping strategies to address the evolving nature of the threat. The attacks underscored the need for increased international cooperation in counterterrorism efforts. Nations worldwide began collaborating on intelligence sharing, joint military operations, and diplomatic initiatives to combat terrorist networks. The United Nations Security Council passed resolutions aimed at strengthening international counterterrorism measures. These resolutions called for improved intelligence sharing, increased border security, and the freezing of assets associated with terrorist organizations. The attacks led to U.S.-led military interventions in Afghanistan and later Iraq, aimed at dismantling terrorist networks and eliminating perceived threats. These actions sparked debates about the effectiveness of military interventions in addressing terrorism. The 9/11 attacks triggered a paradigm shift in how nations approach aviation security, immigration policies, and counterterrorism efforts. The focus on prevention, intelligence sharing, and international collaboration became central tenets in the ongoing struggle against terrorism. The aftermath of 9/11 reshaped our world, turning vulnerabilities into fortifications. Airports transformed into bastions of security, screening evolved, and cockpits became impenetrable. Prohibited items were not just objects, they symbolized a commitment to safety. Immigration policies underwent a paradigm shift. Visa screenings became meticulous, shared intelligence became paramount, and the Department of Homeland Security emerged as a vigilant guardian. Globally, the fight against terrorism took a united front. Nations collaborated, sharing intelligence and embracing collective responsibility. As we navigate the post-9/11 landscape, lessons learned stand as sentinels against uncertainty. The legacy of resilience and adaptation ensures that our skies, borders, and policies are guardians of a safer future. The horizon has changed, and in its transformation, we find a commitment to securing the world we inhabit.